Welcome back to Two Dudes Talking Motorcycles. My name is Gleb, and you can follow me on social media at Gleb Lapham.
My name is Mitch. You can follow me on the socials at Meets to the Beach.
And you can follow the podcast on Instagram and YouTube at tdtmotorcycles. And you can also send us an email at tdtmotorcycles@gmail.com. Feel free to email us your ride stories, new bikes, new purchases, comments, complaints, suggestions for topics, and whatever else you want to share. We always love hearing from you guys, and we pretty much mention that every episode.
But we do.
We do.
And even though we're terrible at responding. But.
Genuinely do. And we're sticking to our promise of this month of doing our usual recording setup instead of being in a random place at a random time and skipping an episode here or two.
Yeah.
So we're back on track. It's kind of a busy time of the year for everything, I feel
Well,
like.
I think normally we make we take time away for the holidays.
Yeah.
So
And the holidays are coming up, so probably we'll have a more scheduled break here soon.
Yeah.
Usually we do like we did in the years past. We try to kind of line up a couple episodes for you guys to still have something to listen to while we're off for the holidays. So
yeah,
something to look forward to. I went to Seattle.
That's right.
Right before right after we recorded our previous episode, and it was a nice time. It was like it's kind of funny because every time I was like looking up fall weather in Seattle, everyone's like, oh, it's going to be rainy, make sure you bring a rain jacket, like it's gloomy. It was like sunny and 65 the entire time we were there. Like it was warm, I was sweating. I was just like, I brought warmer clothes than I needed to.
That's when I went to the UK.
Yeah.
It's like all I ever heard is how cold the UK gets.
I got so lucky with the weather. I'm like, I'm pretty sure this is not the norm, but it's warm. So it was pretty cool. We didn't get to go much outside of the town. I just went with my parents. But I really want to go back because Washington has some beautiful nature.
I bet riding through there would be pretty.
Yeah. Yeah, I would love to ride my bike through there. It's just getting the bike there would be the very boring and long part. Because I think it's like 12 hours from here to Seattle.
Yeah.
So it would have to be like a 2-day.
You could plan a scenic route.
I mean, yeah. So. Yeah, I mean, there's always that. But no, it would be really fun.
Yeah.
But anyways, for today's topic, we are going to go over a few motorcycles that were announced by different brands over at EICMA. Over in, I don't even know what country it's in. I want to say France. Was it Milan? Probably should have looked this up before the episode. While Mitch is on that, so EICMA is.
What do you mean? It happened on the internet.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Where?
EICMA is like basically a motorcycle industry like trade show, and it is an annual event where most of the manufacturers kind of announce their new models and updated models and all of the good stuff. So we figured we would talk a little bit about what was announced, do a little summary on what was announced, and kind of go through some of the models that we've picked out.
Yeah. And yeah, to correct, it's in Milan, Italy.
Oh, yeah. Perfect. Milan's a cool city.
Never been.
I've been there when I was a kid, and it's kind of dope. Not gonna lie.
Nice.
It's got that really cool like cathedral right downtown.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah. So we're gonna go over a few, and I'll start with my first bike.
I was gonna say I think you should start with
the BMW F450 GS. So this is a bike that we talked about a few episodes ago, and because BMW announced like the concept for it and kind of like some of the basic specs that they were shooting for. Mm-hmm. Now at EICMA they officially revealed the full bike, and it is basically their lightweight ADV bike. It is powered by a 420cc parallel twin, pumping out 48 horsepower at 8750 RPM and then 32 pound-feet of torque at 6750 RPM. So it's a lighter, smaller ADV bike, and I feel like we're kind of seeing like I don't know if I'm ready to like call it a trend.
Yeah.
But it's not just like an entry-level bike because it has a ton of different like electronics and off-road goods kind of like we saw with like the new KTM 390 Adventure.
Yeah, I don't know if I would. I'm with you. I don't think I'd call it necessarily a trend, but it's like they're at least making it a smaller displacement for newer, not necessarily newer riders for everybody, but like this way, people who have like a restricted license or something.
Yeah, they can still get it.
And then like, where we have off-roaded on heavier bikes too, people who are experienced, maybe they want an adventure bike, but they don't want this massive beast.
Yeah.
So,
or some people just genuinely want like a light bike because it is easier to ride something that's lighter, especially if you're going off-road. So basically it's kind of like, and I'm sure we're going to see more manufacturers maybe come out with lighter weight models like this, but so far KTM has the 390, BMW is coming out with the F450 GS, and this is the quote that I got from BMW's like website. And it says, with the new BMW F450 GS, BMW Motorrad presents a genuine BMW GS in the 48 horsepower A2 class. That's for the European like classification.
Yeah,
with full control and maximum confidence. Its low weight, superior performance, and perfect balance between agility and stability ensure a particularly intuitive riding experience. And basically, from what I gather, like their focus on this is to keep it like still a very lively bike, but also an approachable weight and an approachable like demeanor, basically.
Yeah.
In addition to the 420cc parallel twin engine, it's got a 6-speed gearbox with Gear Shift Assist Pro. It's the quick shifter. And just a quick note, so the U.S. market, and that's primarily where I got the notes from because we're based in U.S.
Right. Yeah.
The U.S. is only getting the GS Trophy trim variant of this bike, which is basically includes all the bells and whistles. Outside of the U.S., other markets are getting a variety of different trims. So just a note for if you're listening to this outside of U.S., you do have a bit more variety available. So not everything in my notes here is going to be applicable to
the U.S.
or to other countries.
Other countries.
Yeah.
Okay, I see.
And mainly the difference comes in between like the riding modes and the suspension that's offered on the bike, because this one offers kind of like kind of beefed up suspension to the other variants of this bike in other countries. But I'm assuming we're also going to get the most expensive price because we're getting like the top trim only here in the States.
Yep.
So just a little like disclaimer. 6-speed gearbox with Gear Shift Assist Pro, which is BMW's quick shifter. So that's already pretty nice. On like a lighter weight adventure bike. 135-degree crankpin offset and balance shaft for more character and less vibrations. And one of the most interesting things that I saw, it is they have something that's called an Easy Ride clutch. And basically what it does is it makes it, I'll just read it here. Easy Ride clutch combined with the Gear Shift Assist Pro allows the rider to start moving the bike and to shift gears without using the clutch lever. So not only you don't have to use the clutch to shift the gears up and down, you also might not even have to use the clutch to get the bike going. And it also has a hydraulic clutch, which normally you don't see in the lightweight class.
Right.
You don't even see that in the middleweight class, really.
Yeah.
But the way the Easy Ride clutch works is it basically uses a centrifugal unit in the clutch, which engages the clutch depending on engine speed. So if your engine speed falls down too much, this unit basically engages the clutch and keeps your engine from stalling. And if you select too high of a gear where the engine, actually can't get going, it will flash a warning on the screen telling you like, hey, you need to downshift. Can't really make it go. And it helps like prevent slowing the bike or stalling the bike if you're moving through city traffic or moving at low speeds. But it still does have a clutch lever. So you can still grab the clutch whenever you want to give yourself more control on the bike, or if you're riding off-road or, for whatever reason you might need to grab the clutch. Which I thought was like really interesting that it still has a clutch, but it can also like get going and stuff basically without ever touching the clutch.
Yeah.
But you can still manually engage and disengage the clutch to help you in a particular riding situation. BMW specifically listed like off-road situations where you might need to like pop your front tire or kind of give it a little bit more of a burst of power. And kind of like to help it like get out of a sticky situation or whatever else might get stuck. But for like everyday driving, it doesn't sound like it would have to even touch the clutch, which is pretty interesting. And I feel like if you're a newer rider, it's going to be like something more approachable, but also
Yeah,
I feel like
I don't know if
learning how to use a clutch is also
Yeah.
one of the like fundamental skills of
I was about
riding
to
a
say-
motorcycle.
I was about to say, I don't think like, I think if you're like, especially for new riders, like you should learn how to work your clutch and like, especially like in traffic and in tight situations, you know, like, yeah. Oop.
Because not every bike is going to have this feature, and if
Yeah.
you want to get like a second bike or a different bike, you should know how to use the clutch. But I do like the no stalling. That sounds kind of nice because it does kind of suck when you stall the bike.
Yeah.
Especially at a red light and you're just like sitting there kind of embarrassed trying to
Aw.
start it back up.
Sad bike noises happen.
yeah.
Yeah. So-
But I thought it was kind of cool, and it's got a 3.6 gallon fuel tank, which I thought kind of funny because the F800 GS, it's got like a 3.8 gallon fuel tank.
yeah. Like,
And that's like one of the even one of the guys over at our local BMW dealer said like he that's kind of what he hears a lot of people say. It's like the fuel tanks is
they just
just
need
like
a
a
bigger,
little too small.
Yeah.
And it does have an aluminum engine skid plate included. I don't know how good of it is. I feel like most manufacturers' skid plates are kind of okay, and most people just put on an aftermarket
yeah.
plate anyways. For the chassis, another quote from BMW here. Our chassis concept for the new BMW F450 GS is based on a completely redesigned tubular steel frame that integrates the two-cylinder inline engine as a load-bearing element. And that's a quote from Mark Webber. He's one of the engineers on the F450 GS. Tubular steel frame, 57.7-inch wheelbase, and a 28.1 degree steering angle. With suspension, they have a 43 millimeter KYB upside down forks in the front, 7.1 inches of suspension travel, rebound compression adjustable. That's one of the components that's going to be different in other markets for different trims. So in the US, it's going to be fully adjustable, but in other countries, it might be a different suspension that might not have as much adjustability or as travel. And then in the back, they got the KYB spring strut with progressive damping, which I feel like I'm seeing more because I think that the new Ducati Desert X also has a progressive spring. So basically, it gets like a little firmer the more it compresses, kind of like help keep it from bottoming out.
Yeah.
And the rear also has adjustable preload and damping, and also 7.1 inches suspension travel. The brakes are, it's got a 19-inch in the front and a 17-inch rear wheel. And the brakes are Brembo calipers, at least in the front.
Which is good.
Yeah.
Those are nice.
And a single 310 millimeter disc brake with 4-piston Brembo caliper, and then a single 240 millimeter disc on the back. I don't think the rear caliper is Brembo, but the front one is.
Yeah.
And then they are equipped. It is equipped with BMW's ABS Pro, which is ABS plus like lean sensitive ABS that BMW has on most of their bikes. And I think this is kind of like the big thing I'm seeing between like the bikes, like both the KTM 390 and this. So not only is it a lightweight bike, so assuming it's going to be lower priced, but it has a lot of the electronic and tech features. And one of the biggest ones is in the riding mode. So on the US market, you're also going to have the Enduro Pro mode. In addition to the Rain, Road, Enduro, you also have the Enduro Pro mode, which is essentially just like their pro level off-road mode where it disables rear wheel ABS, it disables wheelie control, it disables or tunes down the ABS on the front wheel a lot, and it even has adjustable levels of traction control and throttle response and like rear wheel slide and all those kinds of things.
That's
which I'm
nice.
like, on a bike like that the KTM has those kind of things too on the new 390. I'm like, that's so cool to see on a bike that's like a lower priced one.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's going to engage a lot more people like off-road, and especially like even like more experienced off-road riders I feel like are going to be inclined to at least give it a try or try it out, because if they want a lighter bike, then they can at least mess around with it off-road,
make
give
it
a little
their
more
bike,
playful and things like that, which I thought was really cool. And then as for like Rain, Road, Enduro, I mean, they're kind of just your
ride modes,
usual riding modes. Enduro is like the more of the sporty mode. So it was really cool to see something like that level of
that's really cool.
Customizability, kind of like on a cheaper bike, lightweight.
I wonder if it's like maybe this is the trend, because there's always been like that stigma. I don't know if I'd call it a stigma, but like with ADV bikes, right? It's like the rich doctors and dentists, like only people with a lot of money get adventure bikes.
And I feel like
maybe we're seeing these smaller bikes come in at much better price points.
And I'm really hoping that Triumph kind of learns from this a little bit and adds a lot of those features to.
They can make something they can call they can make a small Tiger and call it the Tiger Cub.
I mean, that
first idea,
but also like for the next iteration of like the Tiger or the Scrambler to add also those features that allow you kind of like
some
to
adjustability,
fine-tune your traction control and your like assists on the bike, so a rider that's more experienced can be more playful with the bike versus someone who's less experienced, versus just keep it at all the same level.
Yeah.
And also let you switch modes while moving.
Yeah, even slowly.
Slowly.
Yep.
Further on in the electronics, it's got the LED lighting with the iconic X pattern that BMW is starting to kind of adopt on their adventure bikes right now.
Cool.
I think it looks better than even the 1300 GS headlight.
Kind of. Low key.
And then it's got full LED lights, rear and front. 6.5-inch TFT display, which you've heard me talk about on the podcast before. BMW displays, I feel like
they look good,
are always my favorite ones because I feel like they always look really good. So it's got two variants that it can like show on the screen. It's got the pure ride screen, which from reading it, I assume it's like the usual BMW screen. And it's also got a sports screen, which offers like a split screen view with like one side showing like your speed, gear, RPM, and the other side showing like your telemetry for your bike, like distance traveled, how far you've run, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Lean angle, braking power, like your traction control level, all that kind of stuff. And that also includes connectivity with the phone, so you can connect to your phone, like most modern bikes kind of have that. And it also has standard heated grips, which I thought was pretty awesome,
right? Yeah.
On a bike that's trying to sell adventure. Now, the one thing, and I'm just realizing this, so I don't have like, I forgot to double check, but I didn't see anything here about cruise control being standard, which
I don't know, because all this tech package,
I feel like I want to say I would be surprised if it doesn't have it.
Yeah.
But I also don't remember specifically saying that it might. So I'm going to look that up super fast.
That would be interesting. That'd be a strange choice for them to make, including all this tech and then no cruise control. It has to. And since it's just EICMA, there's no information on like MSRP or anything yet, right?
I did not see information on
I couldn't
MSRP.
find anything on my bikes either.
Basically like announced all the specs and everything, but the what the actual price is going to be. And like I said, in the US here, we're getting like the top trim of the bike, so it might be a little
more here.
It's going to be probably a little bit more than what other countries would see, especially like if they just have like the lower price bike. Heater grips is standard, high performance touring and travel capabilities. I don't see anything specifically mentioning cruise control.
Yeah,
which makes me a little.
It's just another oversight, but who knows? So. But while you look that up, I can start off on one of the other big bikes.
I did like a web page wide search.
Not coming
so
up.
Cruise control, unknown yet.
Okay.
Unless I have confirmation, I don't want to like make that call. And then real quick, I'm almost finished up here. USB-C charging socket up front. Very nice. 33.3-inch seat height, 393 road-ready weight. So that's with fuel and all the liquids and stuff, which it's under 400 pounds, which is kind of, it's probably going to feel really nice. Like I said, 3.6 gallon fuel capacity. And then BMW includes the break-in service on all their bikes, which I feel like I've seen somewhere before, but I totally forgot about that, which is kind of nice.
That's some value.
So if you're shopping for a BMW and your dealer says, we'll throw in the break-in service for you.
It already comes with it.
Yep, it already comes with it. And it does have an optional touring windshield available that has an adjustable height, and then optional engine guards and stuff like that, and a bunch of other accessories like exhaust, luggage, blah blah blah. That's the usual fare. I didn't really include those in my notes, but so I think it's kind of cool that we're seeing these like smaller bikes popping up as a kind of a trend for like lightweight adventure bikes.
Yeah. So now we got BMW and
KTM. There was like the Kawasaki that we talked about last time, but I feel like that one doesn't quite.
I don't think
it doesn't reach this level of.
Did you see that they've made some changes, quote unquote, to it after feedback?
Really?
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen anything about that.
I'll have to pull it up again. I saw it this morning, but it was they said, we saw reviews and how everyone was like. Everyone called out that our test rider like bottomed out the bike in the release video.
Really?
You can see that when he goes like.
No, I saw the video, but I didn't know they like came out with a.
Well, people are just saying that he did, which it really does look.
No, but KTM or Kawasaki.
Kawasaki are like, we're gonna make some changes, and like,
interesting.
We'll see, because from what I was reading, it's like there's more ground clearance, but then like the suspension travels the same.
Interesting.
I don't know what they did, but
be curious to look into that more. But yeah, let's move on to a much bigger adventure bike that's coming out soon. And that's
this is our the 2026 Desert X, or I guess V2 is what they're version 2. So it's still the same capacity, but with the newer engine that's being used in the Hyper Motard V2, the variable intake variable engine. I'll have to see what I have on there, but the 890cc V twin that has the intake variable timing. And I should have put in there what that did to the bike. But, no, this is like one of their newer motors though that they've made. For the Desert X, we have an output of 110 horsepower at 9,000 RPM and 68 foot-pounds at 7,000 RPM. So with that, we're also shaving off 9 pounds from the previous models.
That's pretty good, because that bike is on the heavier side.
It is,
heavier side of things.
And then I was in the research for this bike over on the same website we were reading an article from motorcycle.com. Their article mentions that it's going to have a dedicated transmission, which just sounds like it's just a transmission for the tuning of that bike. I couldn't.
That makes sense.
I don't know why they felt it's like every bike has a dedicated transmission, right? But they've redesigned like the bodywork and the tank. They've also got a new cast aluminum swing arm on there, probably helping with the weight savings.
Yeah.
Like Ducati didn't really reveal too much about it.
If I remember right, like they basically announced that it was like, hey, this bike is being made. Here's what it's sort of going to look like. It still had that like camouflage, like
the
color
prototype,
scheme, the camo pattern on it and stuff. And I showed it to one of my coworkers. Like, whoa, that thing looks cool. I'm like, it's not going to look that the paint's not going to be like that. He's like, oh, they should keep the camo. It looks dope. And I was like, I don't think they're going to do that. But
remember, like, it's like those anime shirts, all the girls with their mouths open. That's what the camo kind of looks like at first glance. But no, they've where was I with it? Yeah, and then slight like body design modifications to it as well too. Like I kind of like how like the headlights now have like a cutoff. They're not all fully round.
I really like the.
Oh, I still love the old ones.
The round like Harry Potter light.
Harry Potter light, yeah.
Harry Potter glasses headlights. Yeah. But no, I think the new design
it does look pretty good.
Also still looks pretty good.
They've reworked like the tank and the windscreen. So I think I like the windscreen on this version a little bit better. Yet speaking of the front end of the bike, in my mind, there's a bit of an issue. Well, we've talked about it. We agree. A bit of an issue with the design is they removed the vertical, like rally-inspired rally tower TFT display.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. And so now it's like a standard horizontal one.
Yep. They did swap it around. And
I don't know.
I think it's the horizontal one. I'm assuming, and this is just me making assumptions, it's going to be a similar one that you'll see on like the Multistrada V2 and the Diablo, kind of like in line with all their other bikes. My guess is it's just more of streamlining production versus having to design a specific TFT designed for the Desert X. It's probably like cost saving and efficiency just to make the same TFT across the
and stuff like that makes sense. It just it's just a bummer because the first one like that
it's really cool.
It looks
it's really cool.
I don't know. It's such a callback to like the rally Dakar looking
I agree.
heritage, you know?
And you said they had the redesigned windscreen, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Which I'm really curious about because I don't remember if I've experienced any buffeting when I test rode the Desert X.
I didn't.
On my helmet, but I also like watched it, like, remember hearing like some reviews about it, and that was like kind of a complaint that some people had where it's
They're
like
getting some buffeting.
just the shape of it and the height of it kind of like for a certain height of rider, it kind of hits them like right in that sweet spot where your helmet kind of resonates with the wind a little bit. And I've had that issue with my first Honda that I had. And I had to get like a taller windscreen.
I had it before I got the right screen for my bike.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that kind of like mitigates that issue and kind of helps out with that.
Yeah.
I just feel like, especially if you're like a taller rider, you're more likely to feel it because you're kind of sitting above where most windshields are probably going to hit.
Right. Yeah.
So that's really good to hear.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, but I think it still looks good. I didn't have a problem with like the first Desert X look either.
I don't remember having an issue with it as well. I just remember thinking like, damn, this thing is peppy as fuck.
Yeah, and it
like,
looks good.
I love it.
Yeah. So maybe
there'll be some good deals on previous model years.
Maybe.
With the new one coming out, who knows? But then I'll want the new one because it's lighter, which is also really nice.
I think I could probably take on 9 more pounds for a good price.
And it's got the new one's going to have the airbox moved.
Was that confirmed that we heard, or we
just heard it from
a friend
that we've heard it from a friend that he's more familiar with like Ducatis and stuff, and he's been told that like the airbox has been moved. I don't think they officially like announced or confirmed at EICMA.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll talk about it like in the official release.
But that it's like they're making it a more convenient location to get
which
to
is
your
gonna
airbox.
be like I think it's gonna be really nice for because the current airbox is like underneath the fuel tank. So you have to like move the fuel tank out of the way to get to the air filter, swap that out, which I feel like for an off-road bike, it's kind of annoying because like if you're riding in dirt a lot, you're going to be switching your air filter out a lot more. So just kind of something to think about. But I'm really liking what I'm seeing. I think Desert X is probably like one of my favorite looking adventure bikes.
Looks so good.
Like outside of the older generation, like BMW, like the R1250 GS with that blocky square light that they no longer have.
Yeah.
Like this is one of my favorite looking adventure bikes.
That one Desert X that they had at Eurosport, so with like all the custom work on it. And,
oh my god, that one looks so good.
I'm so sad it's gone. I really wanted that bike.
And I'm really happy to hear that they're changing the weight or
reducing
the weight and stuff of it. Yeah. Which the bike's on the heavier side, but I've seen people like rip that thing across
it's
various like terrain and things like that.
Yeah.
And it's a very capable bike.
100%. So, and it's curb weight, so it's weight without fuel. Lastly, they're with those 9 pounds down, puts it at 454.
Very nice
on there. So
close to maybe like
that's almost close to
500-ish.
Well, that 450, I think the Tenere is almost 450.
Interesting.
If I remember right.
Okay.
But yeah, so is
that full or empty though?
That's probably full. For them. Yeah.
So it's gonna be. I'm guessing it's gonna be like 480, 490 ish.
Yeah.
Like
once they announced I didn't see like an actual like how big the gas tank is gonna be.
Yeah.
But Ducati did confirm that this bike will be fully announced in February of 26. Okay, so we'll find out more then.
I'm sure we'll do a whole news section on it as well.
Maybe if Ducati sends out some demos.
Yeah, we'll check them out. Our friends at Eurosport.
Yeah, but that's all they really put out for it this year.
Very nice.
But I will say after we've ridden like the Panigale V2S, like those motors, man, are so much fun.
I really like that Panigale. Oh. It was such a fun bike.
It was amazing.
Like, I would buy that. Buy that. Moving on from the Ducati, something once again to the opposite side of the spectrum. This is one I kind of wanted to talk about just because I feel like it's always nice to kind of mention newer or kind of like more, I guess, beginnerish friendly or like more cost accessible bikes. I always enjoy when we like bring those up on the podcast because, you know, not everyone's going to be out there buying a Ducati or BMW or even a Triumph. But so it's nice to have a variety of different options, different price levels. And one of the new ones from Suzuki is the SV7GX. And they're kind of like midweight touring bike. They call it a crossover bike. Basically, it is a it's got the sportiness of a street model, but with the comfort and the ergonomics of an adventure bike. So it kind of essentially sounds like Suzuki's Multistrada V2.
Yeah.
Probably for half the price.
Yeah. Okay. So it is just like a sport tour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So pretty much like an upright seating position sports tour, because it does have a 17-inch front and back wheel. So very much street oriented. You're not going to be taking this thing.
I bet that'd be a comfy ride.
Dirt roads. Yeah. Just looking at the photos of it and stuff, it looks like a very comfortable bike, which I think is awesome. And especially, I especially like, the reason I like picked it out of the whole list is that I like the idea of it being like a touring bike that's also probably a lower cost, more accessible, but still has a lot of the touring features, like the ability to put on
like your panniers,
luggage onto it, your panniers. It's got the fairing, so you're not in the wind the entire time. It looks like it's got a plushier seat and ergonomics.
It's a very wide seat.
Yeah,
you're riding all day on that.
All the kind of stuff on that, but it is powered by a 642cc liquid-cooled V-twin, and it's the same one that's found in their SV650, the bike that, from what I remember reading, it's being kind of phased out in other markets, but it's still here in the U.S., and that's one of the bikes that like a lot of people recommend for beginners, the SV650, because it's kind of a very approachable bike.
Yeah.
With approachable power, approachable height, approachable like ergonomics. It's got an uneven firing intervals to create a distinct V-twin pulse while maintaining smoothness. Ride-by-wire throttle, enabling riding modes, traction control, and bidirectional quick shifter. So it's got a quick shifter, which is really nice. And it's got a low RPM assist, a system that helps raise engine RPM slightly when starting or low speeds to help prevent stalling and making the bike easier to ride. So another one of those things that's kind of making it a little bit more approachable for like newer riders and all that, which I thought was really nice. Yeah. It's also got a tubular steel trellis frame, tubular swing arm, 5.3 inches of ground clearance, and a 31.3 inch seat height. And coming in at 465 pounds, I'm pretty sure that's wet.
It's pretty light for
wet weight. Maybe it wasn't. I can't quite remember.
Yeah.
But very approachable height, very approachable ground clearance. You don't really need that much more ground clearance on a street bike.
You're not
going to take this one off road.
No, this is like a full road oriented. Yeah.
And it's got a 41 millimeter telescopic fork up front, not an upside down fork, the regular side up.
Yeah.
And then 7-step preload adjustable monoshock in the rear, so you got an adjustable preload, which is kind of nice. If you're putting on luggage, you want that.
Yeah. You know what I will say about this bike though is, that front end looks nice.
Yeah,
like the front. Like,
that's why it caught my eye, and I was just like, oh, I kind of want to look at this closer. Is like, it's a really like sleek looking front end.
I like it. Yeah.
I like it too. I'm kind of curious to see what Suzuki's gonna like. I hope it does well for him.
Yeah.
I do like the look of it, and like I said, there was no pricing revealed, but I'm assuming like it's gonna be a more accessible price for someone that wants a touring bike without necessarily like having off-road capabilities on it. But it's got full LED lights in the front with like 2 LED running headlights and the actual headlights in the middle, LED turning signals front and rear LED brake light as well, 4.2 inch full color TFT display, and Suzuki Ride Connect to connect your smartphone to it, USB power connector up front with special like cord routing, so you can route the cord a little easier to your phone. And it's got 3 riding modes. Mode A, they just list mode A, B, and C. But mode A gives you a sharper throttle response, so a little more sporty. Mode B is like your normal mode, balanced throttle response. And then mode C softens the throttle response and also lowers the power to just 60 horsepower.
Probably that sounds like a rain mode maybe.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. And I don't remember if I mentioned the horsepower and torque specs, but it's 72 horsepower, 8,500 RPM, and then 47.2 pound-feet of torque at 6,800 RPM. And it's got 3 levels of traction control as well. So overall, I think this would be a nice bike for a newer rider or someone looking to do like road touring.
Like like a smaller bike for sure.
Yeah.
But or even city life, if you're gonna have a bike in the city, like
something a little smaller, more nimble, put some luggage on it, put the top box, and you have a little storage space. So it's nice to see this option in the segment. The only negative that I saw on here is I didn't see any mention of cruise control, which once again, for like a touring bike, I feel like, especially if you already have ride-by-wire, I feel like that's one of those things that should just be standard at this point.
Just didn't mention it.
I didn't say anything about it, so I'm assuming it
see.
doesn't have it until I hear otherwise.
Well, because if I remember right, even like the SV650 is like a pretty bare bones. Like
it's like a naked bike.
Yeah. So I don't. So yeah, I guess we'll see if they include that.
But I feel like with so many of these bikes having ride-by-wire controls, I don't see a reason not to add.
See, I would agree.
Control.
But then Yamaha goes and pulls some shit with a ride-by-wire bike with no cruise control.
Yeah, exactly. And that's also another bike that should have cruise control. Because if you're expecting people to ride your bike for a long distance, cruise control is one of those things that makes such a big difference on the longer ride, with allowing you to like rest your hand, rest your wrists. You're not constantly have to be pinned down on the throttle, or rely on like aftermarket accessories like throttle locks where they might or might not fail, like as something as versus like having an integrated system where it's already like built into the bike's ECU, built into the bike's like system to manage and maintain that speed.
Yeah, I just had a thought though, like with my bike, because my bike has cruise control, and when I get to use it, you're right, it is nice. It's a game changer. I can ride with, I can rest my wrist.
Yeah.
But because mine's not variable, I can't adjust it unless I cancel it and reset it. Like I find, like, even when we go on like group rides, like long trips or something. Like, most of the time I wasn't using cruise control because like I couldn't quite get it like to keep up with you guys, or if I was going to be, or I was like going too fast, so I was getting too close, so I have to cut it off.
Oh, that would be kind of annoying too.
Yeah. So honestly, like it is nice to have it, and especially like when I ride alone, I can set cruise control.
Yeah.
But like with groups and stuff, I don't have that variable adjustment.
And so
it's just like, well, I don't want to have to keep canceling it and setting it.
That also makes sense.
So I think it depends on this. That's just a thought I had, is I think it depends on even what kind of cruise control you're giving the bike.
That's true. Yeah. But I still think like I would take any form of cruise control versus not having any.
It is not like if I need to free up my right hand for something.
Yep.
Like if I'm riding up to your house or something, or wherever I'm going, like it is nice to have for sure.
Yeah.
But
so a little bit of a shorter write up on this, but yeah, like I said, overall, I think I was kind of excited to see a more kind of like approachable little touring bike that not only looks like it'll be approachable or sounds like it'll be approachable in price, but also like still looks good.
Yeah.
It looks like nice. It's got a nice and slick profile. Like if you're listening to this on audio, like check it out online, but nice and slick profile, the cool looking headlights, decent colors and stuff.
I was actually surprised that was a Suzuki.
Yeah, it looks good. Yeah. It looks really good.
I've never really been a big fan of Suzuki looks.
Not all
myself.
Of them. Yeah. But yeah. So if you're in the market in the future for a new touring bike, that's something to think about.
Sport touring's your thing. Yeah. Something small, you're new, or you just want, like, honestly, just a useful bike to get around.
I think it'd be one of those that's kind of can be an all-around bike as long as you're not planning on doing any dirt riding. But there's also plenty of other options for that.
Yeah, for sure. So next bike,
the Honda.
Maybe I'll just, because this other one is so small, maybe I'll just do, we have two bikes. Both of these are going to be from Honda. We have the 2026 Honda CB1000F. No word yet for U.S. market.
Unfortunately, because it does kind of look good.
I know, right? Yeah. We can't get nice things. No, I'm kidding, but the 1000F is going to be released for the European market. And first of all, I'm going to say about this bike is it has like that retro 80s look to it. And I like it. It looks like old school Japan.
Yeah,
like
I agree.
It takes me back to like the old like anime 80s. Yeah. It looks good.
It looks good. And for those of you that haven't, if you've not seen it, I kind of like how it's got the little two horns.
Yeah,
like up front. Just looks kind of like two eyeballs, like kind of staring forward.
Yeah,
and I'm like, weird spot to put a horn, but
it just looks.
It makes the bike look a little more fun.
Like
I like you comparing it to like an anime looking bike.
Yeah, like it just has like that 80s vibe to it.
Yeah, makes sense.
Anyway, I really like it. It's a pretty approachable bike. 31 inches of seat height, 31.3 inches for a seat height. I thought I put in which engine was used for it, but a lot of like the article from motorcycle.com was comparing it to the Hornet SP.
Okay.
Which is, more of a sporty modern bike.
Yeah.
And they use that one as an example for the power ranges. So like where the Hornet has more of like a mid to high range for peak torque.
Mm-hmm.
This one's been tuned down low, so it's more of like an easygoing roadster.
Yeah.
Still fast, obviously, but it being 1,000. But where were we? Yeah, so it's an inline four with 122 horsepower at 9,000 RPM, 76 foot-pounds at 8,000.
So it's pretty. It's good.
It's got some pep.
That's some good power.
Yeah. So, and those are even at like the higher ranges too.
Yeah.
Like, so it's going to be nice and punchy.
Plus, I bet that inline four is going to be. It's going to be pretty dope.
It's going to be smooth too.
Yeah. So I still haven't ridden that Z900, the Kawasaki.
Oh, dude, that thing was so nice.
Because one time I asked our friend Morgan, or your sport, and I was like, because they had a used one there. I was like, hey, can I try that out? It'd be really cool. He's like, yeah, but I also have a V2 multi-strada V2 demo. If you want to try that out instead, I'm just like, twist my arm.
Yeah. No, I rode that Kawasaki and that inline. Those inlines are so nice.
I bet they sound wonderful too.
They do.
It reminds me of like a race car.
Yeah. Like I love my Bonnevilles and like that classic parallels, but man, once I got back on like a inline four, is
it's kind of cool.
It's pretty sweet. So that's gotta be a fun little bike to scoot around on. One thing that I like with this bike is, we've made jokes with Honda with how big and gnarly their exhaust pipes are. This bike's not much different, but they put that into the styling for the 80s, like that big old shiny exhaust that sticks out so far. Like if you look at pictures of it, you can see this bike, the exhaust just sticks out on the side so much. But what they've done with this one, it's a 4-2-1 exhaust. So all of the headers for the 4 they meet into 2, then out into 1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you can see how big it is.
Yeah, it's still a chunky exhaust, but
it looks like it belongs.
It fits the styling of the bike. I do agree.
Like the Honda Rebel, like those, or really any of like the other CBs, those exhausts don't look like they belong. They're so big and massive. Sense. Same story, but just cooler looking here.
I do really like how these look, and I still can't get over the horns.
Yeah, right.
Place up front there.
I'll come back to this part, but I put this part in because when I was shopping for my first bike with Hondas, it was like you get the non-ABS or the ABS version. They offered as a choice. For this bike, ABS is just coming standard.
That makes sense. I think that's if I remember right, I think that's pretty much a requirement now in EU, at least. Okay. I don't know if it's here in the US, but in the EU, like all bikes have to have.
Yeah, which just makes sense.
At least all road legal bikes have to have ABS in this now. And honestly, I feel like all of them should, regardless, because I think it's such a big safety thing, especially if you're like a newer rider as well. Or if I feel like,
well, since Honda makes stuff all over the world, maybe they keep them non-ABS if you have like shitty roads, like dirt roads and stuff still. But I'll get to the tech at the end. But first, the up front for the suspension. Jeez, couldn't think of the word there. 41 millimeter inverted Showas. Nice, nice and cushy for you there. Yeah. Carry a big bike on. And the cowl. So like as an accessory you can purchase with it, you can get like the nice headlight cowl. It really adds to it, the looks of it.
I
if you
agree.
saw.
Yep.
I like it. What I don't like about this, now that I'm going to get into the tech, first of all, the number one thing that I hate about this bike that they're including on this bike is a wireless key fob. I've never had the best of luck with key fobs. I don't think motorcycles need them.
I feel like, especially on like a classic looking bike, there's something really tactile about hopping on your bike, putting the key in, clicking it on, and then starting it up and getting it going. So I do agree with that. I feel like on some bikes it kind of makes more sense, like BMWs, their like new GS or the like S1000, like the XR touring bike. Yeah, they have key fobs, and so I'm like, all right, it's kind of like a touring bike. Whatever, sure, makes sense.
Yeah.
But on a bike that looks classic, I want it to also feel more classic.
Yeah.
I want everything to be like very.
If I want a futuristic techie bike, I'll get a futuristic techie bike.
Exactly.
You know, but you can make these nice, beautiful bikes with all the safety tech features in there, and you don't have to ruin.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but that's just my taste. So, the other. I'm not mad that this bike has tech in it. This bike does come with a tech package, a ride-by-wire with ride modes, an IMU.
Yeah.
And it has phone connectivity, so you can connect through Honda's app and stuff.
I feel like it's becoming a very big standard on.
Didn't see anything about CarPlay.
That's okay. On this bike, I let it slide.
Yeah. But where was it? What kills me about the tech on it is this TFT. The bike does come with a 5-inch squared TFT. Mm-hmm. It just does not. It looks so out of place.
I do agree.
On the bike.
Like,
well, because you look at this old model over here. You know, it's got that.
Yeah, but it's got
analog dials,
dual analog dials, but it is like a square one. Mm-hmm. And I remember, like, before we started recording, you were mentioning with the cowl on it, it looks good.
Yeah, without it, with the styling of this TFT, it's like, if you're picky like me, like you're forced to get the cowl to cover up that iPad on your retro looking bike, you know? And I would just say, like, it's not like you can't have a TFT, but like, come on, Honda, you can make it a circle, or you can, you know, put a little something in between dials or do something. Well, even my bike's a TFT, but it's digital and it's round, and I have it set to look like an analog thing.
Yeah. Which
Honda had options.
Yeah.
So
I really, honestly, like, if a bike looks classic, analog dials all the way.
Yeah.
It just looks so much better.
Yeah. And like I said, even if you have to have like that screen on there, because there's not a lot of room to have like all the bike stuff and then the tech things, like with the Africa Twin. Yeah. You know, there's not a lot of room on there. So just make a little circle.
Circle TFT.
Yeah. That's all you need, because you're not going to be.
Or do what Triumph does with the Bonnevilles and just make dual dials with just a little basic LCD on the bottom.
It's pretty much what they did with the Africa Twins for a while too. Like, I think they still have like that little LCD thing.
They do, and I think it's there to show you like your basic info when you have like Apple CarPlay going, because Apple CarPlay won't display like speed and stuff.
Right. Yeah.
But I do agree. I think it just looks a little bit more out of place with a square TFT on there like that.
So I mean but you know, if tech is the only downside, that's okay in today's world,
because the rest of it looks like, I really like how it looks.
Yeah, and a liter inline 4. If there was one to test ride here in the US, I went down the road.
Yeah,
you know? So,
definitely.
But no, to finish this one out, like I just wasn't a big fan of the slapped on tech. On there.
Makes sense.
Other options that we have for it, you can get a quick shifter.
Very nice.
The headlight cowl, and then sits at a curb weight. So again, without fuel at 472 pounds, and with a 4.2 gallon tank.
I think this would be really. It sounded like it could be a really fun bike to just roam around town, take up the twisties like in the mountains, twisty roads,
hit the country road a bit, you know, and like and then that's really like what the article.
Cool.
Yeah, and that's really what the article was putting out there, is like, you know, the Hornet is like our fast, high tech, you know, ready to go bike. With this bike being more of like our classic roadster, getting an update. Yeah, and it looks nice. I really like it. So
very cool.
Yeah. And then the other Honda, it's not really like it's a prototype. There's no other information, but Honda's VER900E compressor.
Is it V3R or VER?
V3R.
Okay.
Yeah, the V3R E compressor prototype. Basically, with this bike, they've designed an engine that they're claiming it's going to be a 900cc bike, but it has the output and character of a 1200cc with the efficiency of the 900.
Yeah.
Using a technology that's similar, like how smaller car engines have like that forced induction to get a little bit more boost out of them. They're basically going to be doing something like that with an electronic compressor.
That's really interesting to see.
Well, cars do it. Yeah. So
like it's almost like a little electric turbo versus like a car turbo, but that's pretty sweet. I remember like reading just like a really brief article about that, and I'm just kind of like, huh.
It's interesting.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, we see Honda do stuff like that with their small cars, and
Yeah.
you know, like it's cool to see that they're still like innovating and trying new things out.
And I think it's kind of cool because I wonder if it's because, you know, like companies are trying to pump out like electric bikes, like fully electric bikes, but
Yeah,
no one's really selling on those, especially for a
Well,
bike that's like
issues
the battery
and-
life
yeah.
is slow, charging infrastructure is kind of bad. But if there's like some hybrid tech involved, which and then the hybrid motor can kind of like bump up the power of the gas motor, I feel like we probably see a little bit more of that. And I feel like that more riders would be inclined to like deal with that versus
Well,
a
straight
full
up battery.
electric
Yeah.
bike. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, I don't know if they could make that work though. If you could get like 1200 cc performance with 900 cc efficiency and weight, and
Yeah.
like that would be pretty sweet.
It'd be really cool to see like how that tech like evolves and develops if it ever goes into production, to see how it's like
Yeah.
received.
Oh, and that's the other thing is like, so the prototype they showed at EICMA, it's a naked style bike. They've used like that same chassis and frame for other prototypes in the past.
Very cool. Okay.
So it's nothing. It's barely a bike. It's an
Yeah,
engine.
okay.
You know. But yeah, currently there are no plans for production. But it was something that I thought was cool to bring up. That
Very nice.
seeing new innovative tech
Yeah.
being tried out at least. You know.
Very sweet.
Yeah.
That'd be something cool to keep an eye on.
Yeah.
And then for my final bike is Norton. So Norton is a British motorcycle brand that hasn't really been available in the US. Like,
They're
I don't
pretty
think they have
small.
any dealers.
I've seen a few Nortons around, but yeah.
They're much smaller than the other British motorcycle brand that we're fans of. But Norton, I come to find out, has been bought out by, not recently, it was like a few years ago, has been bought out by an Indian motorcycle and mobility company called TVS Motor Company. And TVS announced that they plan to expand itself and the Norton brand into more markets, including like expanding its market in Europe, but also expanding into the United States. So it sounds to me like Norton might be coming back or coming into the United States. And one of the first bikes that they're planning on producing is called the Norton Manx R, MANXR. And it's basically a sports bike, fully fared sports bike. They're also going to have the Manx at one point. That's going to be like their naked bike.
Yeah.
And just a quick little quote here from Norton. And the Manx R is a bold reimagining of performance, luxury, and emotion on two wheels, built for the road and engineered to deliver thrilling real-world dynamics with uncompromising precision, with explosive class-leading torque, adaptive intelligence, and handcrafted British design. The Manx R offers a connected, responsive, and exhilarating ride. It's not just a motorcycle, it's a modern vision of what riding should feel like. Sounds pretty bold, sounds kind of cool. The Manx R is putting itself against heavy sport bike hitters like the Ducati Panigale V4, the BMW S1000RR, as well as like all the high-end, like high-performance sports bikes from all the Japanese manufacturers. And
They're just going straight for the crown.
pretty much. So they're pretty much going into the field with like this high-performance sports bike. But what's really interesting is that throughout like reading their press notes, which they haven't really announced like too much of it, just kind of like brief of what they're going for. To me, they really emphasize the point that they don't want to particularly make this bike to be the fastest bike on the track, even though because like the Panigale V4, the S1000RR, they're super high performance bikes, and I feel like you'll never get the full performance out of them just riding on the street.
Right.
The Manx R, Norton kind of wanted to make this bike a little bit more fun to also ride on the street, not just take it to the track. And they used over, let me see here, over 18,500 miles of real world riding telemetry to kind of help tune the bike to be more, to be a more fun riding experience on just everyday roads and streets. So the bike itself is going to be powered by a 206 horsepower, 96 pound-foot of torque, 1200 cc, 72-degree V4 engine. Producing a peak horsepower at 11,500 RPM, very high revving bike, and peak torque at 9,000 RPM. It has a 6-speed gearbox with bidirectional quick shifter, and like I said, Norton's focus is making the engine fun and engaging at the speeds and power most riders will ride at.
Yeah.
So not the track, but city roads, mountain twisties, highways, things like that. And they use that data to engineer usable power between 5,000 and 10,000 RPM. For the chassis, they didn't really go too deep on the chassis, but here's a quote from them. The Manx R chassis is engineered for feel. The cast frame has been meticulously tuned to deliver precise road feedback, giving riders a real sense of connection with the road for genuine confidence on every journey. By focusing on demanding road dynamics rather than just racetrack extremes, Norton delivers a chassis that always feels intuitive and rewarding. So basically, the frame is focused more on comfort, road manners, stability versus just pure track performance. The suspension is going to be fully adjustable Marzocchi suspension. It sounds like it is going to be a semi-active system, so it's electronic. It's adjusting on the fly to different road parameters depending on what riding mode you're in and all of that kind of stuff, kind of like you would see on the S1000R or like the Panigale V4. Brakes and wheels, they're going to be set up with Brembo's new high-pure, high-performance brake calipers, 330 millimeter floating discs up front, and a single 245 millimeter disc in the rear. The high-pure system has been tuned to work with Norton's lean-sensitive ABS, and the Norton is fitted with carbon fiber BSC 17-inch wheels on the front and back with Pirelli's Super Corsa V4 SP tires.
And we know how carbon fiber wheels feel.
Yeah, I mean wheels are like one of the more heavier components of the bike, and tires and the engine. But
that's a package.
But carbon wheels, that's pretty decent weight savings. Because on the last episode we talked about riding that Ducati Diavolo that had like the full carbon package, and those carbon wheels look so cool.
Yeah,
so
when
cool.
you feel the weight difference too.
Yeah,
like
they're way lighter.
It's a flickable bike.
Yeah. And then Norton kind of leaned in heavily on like talking about the electronics that this bike is going to have. So it's going to include 5 riding modes: rain, road, and sport, pretty standard, and then 2 rider modes with configurable settings for the rider to pick themselves. Cornering cruise control, which is unique to Manx R, allows the rider to maintain steady speed through even turns and bends, which I'm curious to see. It's going to go more in depth in that and see how that works, or like the differences versus just regular cruise control.
Right. Yeah.
Switchable linear traction control and cornering traction control using a 6-axis IMU, wheelie and ride slide control, slope dependent control, which is kind of like, if I remember right, it's kind of like when you're going in a straight line or downhill, it kind of gives you more control on the bike with that.
Yeah.
Quick shifter. It's got optimal gear suggestions to let you know what gear you should be in. Launch control, hill start support. The switch gear is made out of metal for precise feedback, and 8-inch TFT touchscreen showing various metrics and telemetry. Kind of like the new KTM RCR, which also has a big
8-inch. Yeah, that sounds kind of familiar.
Screen. Bluetooth integration, Mitch's favorite, keyless ignition.
Oh, gosh. Why?
Which, on this bike, I can kind of see it more because it's a very modern looking sports bike, but hopefully it works better than the Triumph ones.
Give me a key.
Signature daytime running lights and welcome lighting, and then also live tracking and remote immobilization and theft alerts included in the bike, which kind of made me think. I was like, why don't more bikes include that?
Right.
Because that's something like, I know you could buy like aftermarket trackers and immobilizers and stuff, and I'm like, I feel like all modern bikes should probably, especially more expensive ones, should have something like that built in.
Mm-hmm. Well, like when you're like, if you ever mess around on like Ducati's like configurator, like the anti-theft package is like another like $700-ish.
It's pretty pricey.
It's expensive, like for the mount and the bit. So,
yeah. So overall, I think it sounds like a really compelling bike, and I would love to like see them and look at them in person. But with also knowing that if Norton's planning on making their way into the US, I'm hoping they kind of bring in some of their classic lines here into the US to kind of like maybe throw a little competition Triumph's way as well.
Or like in that modern classic field. Yeah,
exactly. That's exactly what I'm talking about. It's like, it'd be cool to see more modern classic bikes added to a lineup here in the States as well.
Because Himalayan does that already, and I wonder how they do compared, like in that market, I guess. Like,
I'm not sure. I know they do have some very classic looking bikes, but I also feel like they're more like, the 350 or the 650 kind of more basic bikes.
Yeah.
But I don't think outside of like some of the classic looking models from like Kawasaki, like the Z900 or like some of the Honda ones, there isn't really like as many modern classic looking bikes outside of Triumph.
And
here
Triumph
in the
makes,
US.
Triumph makes the best looking ones.
Makes like the largest line of modern classic bikes. So, but I think competition is always good in this field. So it'd be nice if Norton also brought their modern classics here to the state.
Yeah.
But for now, they're just bringing the Manx R, which I think is a gorgeous looking bike.
I like the headlights and the cowl on this. I would say this bike, like the body, the fairings on the body, my first thought when I saw it was like, that just looks like a nameless bike in Grand Theft Auto 5.
And normally I'm not a big fan of silver colors because I think silver is kind of a generic color, but I think on this bike, it just works really well.
It does look good.
And I like the silhouette. I like the single-sided swing arm. To me, it really caught my eye. It just kind of looks like futuristic, but without being over the top.
It's familiar still.
It's familiar, but I like the very clean, smooth lines that it has. It doesn't feel like super angular or...
I'll redact what I said. It looks a lot better for me, it looks a lot better from the profile.
Yeah, I think the profile of the bike looks phenomenal.
Oh, that tail end looks sharp too.
Yeah, the tail end, like...
The single swing arm. And that headlight.
I'd be very surprised if the tail end actually ends up looking like that if it comes to the U.S. market or most markets. Because I feel like there's always something extra
that back end looked like
add.
It looked like the ionic or iconic headlights from the Hyundais. Those weird.
Yeah. But I'm really excited to. I'm hoping that it's gonna pop up into like American dealers sometime in the near future.
It'd be cool to get hands on.
Actually ends up getting here because I really want to see it in person.
Yeah.
In addition to it, Norton also announced like their Manx, just the Manx without the R, and that's gonna be like the naked version of this bike. And then also their Atlas and Atlas GT, which are like their
sporty tour,
kind of ATV sport tour bikes, which I don't think look as good.
No,
they kind of just look.
The Atlas doesn't really do it.
It doesn't do it for me either. So that's why I just focused on the Manx R because I thought that one actually looked pretty beautiful. So
I thought I saw a picture for just as a regular Man X, but like that headlight on the. Manx, it almost looks like a Street Fighter headlight.
A little bit.
But not as sharp.
I'm really I'm hoping they, one, get here soon, and two, I'm hoping they're successful and the bike sells well so they stick around in the US market because I think it's always good to have more bikes.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm with you there.
Yeah.
It was cool to see that they were doing something other than their smaller or like their modern classic look to them. So,
I agree.
But no, I think it's good, especially they're still around, because we even did like that World War II history episode and there was things like BSA, Triumph, and Norton was a part of that too.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think it's awesome that they still have that heritage going.
And like I said, I hope they bring some modern classic bikes and some more modern classic bikes into the US
just to see what we can get. Yeah. Yep. That'd be sweet. So, all right. Well, the last bike that I have is this thing was so sweet. The MV Agusta Brutale Series Oro. And goddamn, if you guys don't know what the Brutale looks like, I didn't know much about them. I still don't know that much about MV Agusta. Yeah. But this thing just looks mean and sharp and red.
Definitely look it up.
It's like if Ducati was a Pokemon, it's like the monster evolved in phase 2. So
they look so good.
Yeah. But so this is coming in as a new middleweight sport naked sport bike. That is going to be sized between the existing Brutale 800 and the Brutale 1000s. So this is going to be coming in with a lose my place all the time. Okay, updated inline 3 950 Evo engine. I'll go over all that stuff in a minute, but where was its output? Oh yeah, so it's coming from a 931cc power plant that's used in the MV Agusta Enduro Veloce. Isn't that their not adventure bike, but I can't remember what the Veloce one was.
I see a word enduro.
Oh, yeah, no, I was like, maybe it was their off-road one, but yeah.
While you're reading, I'll look that up for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is there. It is there.
Oh, it is there. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Touring bike. Yeah.
Nice. Cool. Yeah, anyway, so this inline 3 950 Evo engine has a counter-rotating crankshaft derived from the engine power plant. It's going to be outputting 148 horsepower at 11,200 RPM and 79 foot-pounds of torque at 8,400.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a lot of power.
It's a lot. That's a mean bike.
And I feel like that amount of power fits the looks of that bike, too.
This bike looks mean.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. And MV Agusta has stated that 85% of this bike's peak torque is going to be available at street-friendly 3,500 RPM.
Very cool.
So very low.
Yeah.
Which just makes it sound even more fun. I was kind of smitten. I was like, oh, I'll just pick on this. This one looks cool.
Yeah.
Like, oh.
This is actually really cool.
Yeah.
All right.
They've also done a new airbox design on this one. It's a ride-by-wire throttle, fully adjustable Öhlins in the NIX 30 fork in the front and Öhlins TTX 36 shock suspension for the rear.
Very cool.
Brembo hyper calipers, of course.
That's the same one that's in the Norton.
Yeah,
The High Pure. Yeah.
Yeah, the High Pure, the 320 millimeter floating rotors.
Cool.
Dual piston Brembo in the back. This is going to be a 4.3 6-gallon fuel tank. There's an estimated curb weight of 439 pounds.
Cool.
They did that by looking at like the size of the gas tank to what like the dry weight was. So that's an estimated guess.
Okay.
So, this was the cornering head. It's coming with a cornering headlight. So I'm guessing that means like the headlight will like slightly move like with.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, because that's cornering headlight. Like that's what it does in cars. Like a car will like follow.
Yeah, that's what my Subaru does.
Yeah. So it's they're including that on a bike.
Yeah, I can kind of see it because just looking at their like front end, it's kind of like a round oval headlight. I can see if it has like some room to move around.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
I remember like the only bike I can think of off the top of my head that has cornering lights is the Honda Africa Twin, the Adventure Sports trim.
Yeah.
But it's got like the main headlight and then below it's got like two extra LED lights, and they don't really like, nothing moves, but they just kind of light up when you're going into a corner to kind of like shine it through, which I think is kind of cool. It is kind of nice to be able to like see where you're going around the corner. I guess your bike does that naturally because your headlight moves.
Unless I'm countersteering, but yeah. So corner headlight, and then of course for the tech, this is a 5-inch full color TFT, 6-axis IMU, fully adjustable traction control, wheelie control, ABS, 5 adjustable ride modes, rain, urban, sport, race, and custom. So it's always nice that you can get like a cool one that you can build yourself.
Yeah, I agree.
But each of those 5 ride modes is adjustable within their parameters as well.
That's
too.
also very nice.
Yeah, a lot of adjustability. And included GPS assisted anti-theft system, crash detection, and a geofencing functions that can be used with the MV app.
Very cool.
Yeah, so like, again, with the anti-theft system,
It sounds like a really dope bike. I really wish we had like an MV Augusta dealer somewhere locally here, because I would love to try out more.
Look at that TFT looks
bikes.
nice too.
Yeah. It looks good. Like I love the red color with the gold wheels.
Mm-hmm.
And
single side swing arm.
And that 3-step like exhaust. The exhaust looks absolutely like the silhouette of this bike looks brutal.
You know what's
it looks
interesting?
brutally.
Yeah, it does. It does look a little brutally.
Yeah.
But what I like about the brutality though is like we've talked about how we don't really like the new look of the Monster headlight, right?
Yeah.
This looks very similar to the Monster headlight.
Kind of does, but I like it more.
It fits the rest of the bike somehow better.
I think I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree wholeheartedly. Like I've never ridden any of the MV Augusta bikes.
Never
but
touched one, yeah.
I really always like how they look.
Mm-hmm.
And I would definitely love to try one out. Also would love to try like an Aprilia.
Yeah, I haven't touched
I think
those
a lot
either.
of them sound really good. But it would be really dope to see this bike in person. And it sounds to me like it has some pretty solid specs. And
it's insane.
They seem like they're pretty in line with like the likes of like the Ducati Monster, and that's the only one I can think of off the top of my head. Because it really reminds me of the Monster. And it's also Italian, which
Yeah, tracks. But no, that no, that like you're saying, that 3-stack exhaust for that triple engine
just looks so good.
And we looked up some other Brutali, like the 800 exhaust notes, and goddamn, they're so good.
It sounds phenomenal.
So
yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. Reading up through some of the other bikes, I did notice that this is just a funny bit, but Triumph has there's a section on Triumph's new Scrambler 1200. They're saying the Scrambler's been upgraded to Showa suspension and Olin suspension in the rear. I'm like, it didn't get upgraded. You just went back to what it originally was, guys. Come on. But I am glad to see that they made the right call on that bike to put the name suspension, the branded suspension back on.
As for other manufacturers, I mean, there's tons of bikes announced, and obviously we can't cover all of them in one episode. Ducati brought out some updates to the Monster, the Diablo, and Multistrada, all their big lines. Honda got
the two of them.
Yeah.
And then there's a third, I think. Yeah, but
there's the two that you talked about, and then the CB 1000 GT, which looks like a kind of a sport touring bike. Indian Scout, just kind of
interesting.
Some updated.
I wasn't expecting to see a new Indian with the acquisition, but
I haven't either. It's probably was already in the books before it was announced.
Yeah.
The Kawasaki KLE 500 we already talked about in the previous episode, and then Kawasaki also had some updates to their Z900 Modern Classics with electronic throttle and IMU and things like that. So these kind of the bikes that just kind of model out to us more than anything, that were kind of seemed like actually something new versus just a refresh or an update of a previous model.
Yeah. And I'm glad to see it was confirmed through EICMA that Triumph didn't do anything to the Bonneville lineups other than add safety tech, the IMUs. So good on them for that.
But yeah, this is kind of the time of year where a lot of manufacturers like to announce new bikes, and it's great for us because it gives us a few things to chit chat and get excited about. But yeah, I think that's about it.
There were scooters that we're not going to talk about.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about scooters.
Yeah, that's it.
But anyways, so that's our quick little not quick. It's decent.
This is a longer one
episode. Yeah. But yeah, that's what we want to talk about today is some of the new bikes that we found interesting that were announced at EICMA. And if you guys have a favorite bike or a bike that you're looking forward to, if you also keep up with motorcycle news and things like that, let us know if there's a favorite. Let us know if there's one that really caught your eye.
We're going to be keeping our eye on a few others too to see if we can get some more information before we talk about them. So
and especially once they're more fully announced. But anyways, thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye.